except for hers, which clanged wildly on until it ran out of momentum. As the ringers gathered around the motionless body on the floorboards and Pete rang 999, there came the sound of footsteps up the twisting stone steps from the body of the church. Heather, followed closely by Olivia, appeared in the doorway. "What's happened?" she asked, as she gazed at the white and shocked faces of the ringers. "Is Sarah okay?" Heather ran across to the casualty and knelt beside her, feeling for a pulse. "The ambulance is on its way," Pete told her. "Well, she's alive," said Heather. "Out cold, but alive." She gazed up at the bell captain. "What happened?" she repeated. "The stay snapped," said Pete. "It happens. It's rare, but it happens. But I've never seen a ringer injured like this. I think she must have pulled too hard. Newbies do that, and she didn't have the experience to let go. Without the stay, there's nothing to stop the bell carrying on turning full circle, again and again, wrapping the rope around the wheel. She got lifted clean off her feet." Heather transferred her gaze to look up at the ceiling of the bell chamber and at the multicoloured sally of Sarah's rope, now filling the hole that guided it into the belfry. She looked back at Sarah. Poor kid, how terrifying. In the distance, they could hear the wailing ululation of an approaching emergency vehicle. Sarah groaned and her eyelids fluttered. "Lie still," said Heather, patting her hand. "You're going to be okay. Help is coming." She turned to Olivia. "It might be an idea to tell Brian, or anyone for that matter, to meet the ambulance and show them how to get up here." "Of course." Olivia rushed off. Sarah groaned again and opened her eyes properly. Tears slid down her temples and into her hair. "It hurts," she whimpered. "What does?" asked Heather gently. "Everything. My back, my legs." Heather looked at Sarah's legs, which were encased in jeans, and saw her left ankle was at a hideous angle, and blood was seeping into the denim covering her right shin. Heather was pretty certain that Sarah's ankle was broken, and she'd put good money on a compound fracture of her right tibia too. But even more worrying was the matter of Sarah's back. And good luck to the ambulance men who would have to find a way of getting her immobilised down the tower steps. When the ambulance crew arrived, Heather and Olivia rejoined the congregation, which was buzzing with curiosity as to what had happened. "How bad is it?" asked Brian, who was waiting at the bottom of the steps. Heather shook her head. "Not great. Definitely one broken leg. Possibly both of them are, but her back hurts. That's the really worrying thing. Pete said she fell quite a distance." Brian ran his fingers through his sparse grey hair and made his fringe stand on end like Tintin's quiff. "I think, under the circumstances, we might abandon Matins. Maybe just all of us join together and say a prayer for poor Sarah and suggest that everyone comes back for evensong." He looked at his wife. "What do you think?" Heather nodded. "I think that sounds like a very excellent plan." The next day, another of the town's residents, Bex Miller, stood in the primary school playground and watched her two young boys, Lewis and Alfie, hair around like overexcited puppies as they greeted friends that they hadn't seen during the long summer break. What a difference, she thought, from the start of the previous term when they'd just moved to Little Woodford and they'd been new and shy. She wondered how her 16-year-old stepdaughter Megan was getting on at the comprehensive at the other end of town. Hopefully, now the class bully had been put in her place, Megan would slot back in with the same ease her half-brothers seemed to be displaying, only possibly with less shrieking and running.